Tonight on News 5 Live, COVID variant detected in 30% of active cases. Preparations underway to welcome first cruise ship in 18 months. And a fake document being sent to members of the BDF is debunked by the Commandant. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
It's a fact that with Smart, you get truly unlimited everything. Only with Smart, you get unlimited data anytime. While with the other guy, it's only double data on weekends. With unlimited data every day with Smart, there's no need to wait. So, it's a fact that our unlimited plans beat the competition. Stop being measured and told when to use your data and get unlimited talk, text, and data. Experience the true unlimited plans with Smart. That's a fact. Make the switch and live smart.
Infinite Health presents Common Sense Herbs, everything your body needs, and are all natural, dairy-free, non-GMO, cruelty-free, gluten-free, and are FDA monitored. Everything your body needs. Distributor in Belize, Infinite Health, Birdsile, Belize City. Telephone number 613-1914. That's 613-1940.
Yes, no. Yes, yes, no. I need to try it first.
For the best built tools with the best performance and service, Hilti is the brand you can trust. Our warranty program is second to none. Hilti will repair or replace any tool that breaks as a result of materials or manufacturing defects for 20 years. Get 2 years of no-cost wear and tear coverage, including parts. Hilti, the best tools with the best coverage. Available at Benny's Quality and Savings.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Andrea Polanco, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
No make no sense at all. No kind of sense. That Belize video when I have that sign up there in China for.
That not in China at all, that in Spanish.
You understand what it said then?
Yeah. It said wear your face mask properly, cover your nose and your mouth.
Will help prevent the spread of COVID to others. Together we could make Belize safe.
Wear your mask properly over your mouth and nose to protect yourself and others. Together we can keep Belize COVID-19 safe.
evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, July 6th. I am Sabrina Daly. While fears and speculation about the Delta variant continues and the results from Baylor University are not yet in, News 5 has learned that unidentified variants have been detected in up to 30% of recent samples taken from active COVID-19 cases. Samples that for the most part originate from northern Belize. News 5's Paul Lopez went to the Central Medical Lab today to talk to the technicians about this disturbing new twist in the pandemic.
The lab detected its first set of variants of concern in samples sent from the Northern Health Region in Orange Walk.
The first day when we found the variant of concern, it was more than one. And we were surprised, like everybody was like, wow. We found that we have variants of concern here, but we didn't know that. And we just informed and, well, we know that we have to follow up to determine which one.
The question of which one is challenging because there are up to 10 named COVID-19 variants detected to date across the world. The Belize Central Lab has the capacity to detect only 4 of these. When it runs the test for the original COVID strain, the laboratory looks for a segment of the virus called the E gene, using specific primers coded for that E gene. In detecting a variant of concern, however, the primers used are different.
The reagent that we have for the variant of concern will also be specific, so it will have primers and probes. It's a mixture of primers and probes of either the delta, the gamma, the alpha, or the delta. It have a mixture of that, so it will be looking for that in the sample. It won't be looking for the E gene because those primers and probes are not present there. It will be looking for those, the delta and those ones.
All positive cases of COVID-19 detected by the laboratory now undergo a second screening to determine if it is a variant of concern. This has doubled the workload at the Central Medical Lab.
It has been very challenging since we don't have enough human resources, and then the staff, they do get tired, and with the increase of samples, we try to process as much as we can, but sometimes it's just difficult.
Senior medical technologist at the Central Medical Lab, Aldo Sosa, says variants of concern account for up to 30% of the current active COVID-19 cases.
As was mentioned earlier, in the first test that we were done, they happened to be from the northern regional, and a few from south, maybe only 1 or 2 if I can remember clearly. However, as we proceed with the testing, we can see that these are popping up more throughout the country.
Is it of any concern at this time, the behavior of it, just considering the havoc that we've seen different variants wreak across countries, across the world? And is it more of a concern not knowing specifically what specific variant it is?
Definitely. Your actions, your measures are always directed at the information that you have. So if you don't have information, you're kind of just going out into the dark.
Local health authorities are operating on the assumption that the variant of concern in Belize is the Delta variant, which was first identified in India and has since been identified in more than 85 countries across the world.
From what we've seen from all around us, it is more infectious. The transmissibility is greater, and so when virus can transmit much easier, then you're anticipating greater infections, and definitely greater infections in those persons who have some are deficient in some way in their immunity, and so in that aspect, the Delta variant would it's redundant. It's a variant of concern that is of concern, causing concern, because you don't know how exactly it will behave within our population.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Because the Central Medical Lab does not have the capacity to undergo a process called sequencing, which identifies the exact makeup of a specific variant, help is being sought from Baylor University. Those results are yet to be announced. And to prove whether the AstraZeneca vaccine is effective for the Belizean population, the Belize Central Lab is undertaking a study in collaboration with Baylor Studies of Medicine using blood samples from 700 frontline health workers. The samples were taken before the vaccine was administered. These included those who contracted COVID-19 and those who did not before taking their first shot. Another set of samples were then taken after the first dose of vaccine was administered. Laboratory director at the Central Lab, Geraldine Morazan, told us more about this study.
We saw that 4 to 6 weeks after the first vaccine, people that were negative started to positive response or having positive tests, meaning that antibodies were detected against COVID. Meaning that AstraZeneca, our body is producing the antibodies against COVID, and then AstraZeneca is a vaccine that is working and doing its job. Then we waited for the people to get their second vaccine. So that changes because some people got it in March, some people got it in May. So it changes, but we're asking that people that get their second vaccine after 4 to 6 weeks, we get another draw of blood and we conduct another test. And we have seen so far that a lot of people are started to their antibodies titles are higher than the first one. So for instance, at the beginning, a baseline of somebody who was never contact or had never been exposed to COVID was in 0.80. After the first vaccine, 4 weeks after that, then we test them, and then they were 4.0. And after the second dosage of the vaccine, 4 weeks after that, we took the sample, and then now we have 8.3. So that gives us reassurance that AstraZeneca is working, that we are producing antibodies against the COVID.
This afternoon, an email purportedly from the BDF commandant was being circulated among soldiers, telling them anyone who does not take the vaccine by August 1st would be placed on immediate charge. The email goes on to say that persons who refuse to get vaccinated will be terminated from duty. This has turned out to be a hoax. When News 5 reached out to the commandant, Brigadier General Stephen Ortega, this evening he informed us that email did not originate from his office. He says, however, he has identified one source of the information, and that person has been called into his office for questioning tomorrow. The commandant reiterated that the Belize Defense Forces policy on the administration of the COVID-19 vaccine among BDF officers is in line with the most recent statutory instrument, and he sent us a copy of the force's documented position. Viewers will recall that similar allegations of mandatory vaccination for soldiers were made against the commandant only a couple weeks ago. At that time, he also had to dispel those rumors and clarify the position. After over 18 long months, the wait for cruise ships is about to end. On Wednesday, the first ship from the Carnival Cruise Line's docks in Belize City. Today, Dwayne Moody headed out to the 4th Street Tourism Village to find out about the preparations being made to get everything ready and approved for the restart of the industry.
Since cruise reopened in the U.S., the first ship that set sail was the Celebrity Edge, and they sailed from Fort Lauderdale with 99% vaccinated. Just this weekend that passed on July 2nd, we had the Royal Caribbean Freedom, and then the following day, the Carnival Vista. So today they're actually in Roatan, tomorrow they're with us, and the day after they're in Cozumel.
With the Carnival Vista calling to port in Belize City on July 7th, final preparations are in full swing at the 4th Street Tourism Village to ensure that personnel inside the gates are vaccinated and businesses are gold standard certified in time to receive tourists from the 2,810 passengers on board the ship who plan to disembark at the port.
It feels so unreal, after being shut down for so long, the preparations that have come into place just to make tomorrow a reality. just seeing the excitement in all the operators, the vendors, it just goes across the board to say that, all eyes are on us to make sure we do it safely, but at the same time, I'm very excited to start making some money again. We've done our gold standards across the board when we started the reopening for the airport. So we've implemented the same protocols, a 9-point checklist for all the operators, all the vendors, all the gift shops within the port itself, the tender operators. So at any point of contact throughout the cruise experience, we have implemented gold standards.
I'm standing just outside the gates of the 4th Street Tourism Village as the country prepares to welcome back cruise ships in less than 24 hours. While there are preparations being made inside these gates for COVID-19 protocols, just outside there are vendors who are also preparing their booths in anticipation of cruise ship tourists.
Since COVID, the business gone for a hell. Everything locked down, no money to make. Understand me? So that's the situation right there.
Cruise tourism, they come back tomorrow, effective tomorrow on first ship. They come talk to us about what you expect, your anticipation.
Well, whatever for be will be, I don't expect nothing much. Whatever for be, like I said, whatever for be will be. If I get $1 or $2, I appreciate that. I come out today because I try to clean up the place, something because 1 year I change when I come out there, so I come out today because I try to prepare. So we're going on tomorrow.
You think you're ready in time for tomorrow?
If you're not ready, you have to get ready.
Like Glenn Ford Stamp, Cynthia Myvett has been working in the tourism industry for 10 to 15 years. The COVID-19 pandemic has taken a toll on the business, but she and her husband, since May of this year, have been setting up behind the former Mirab building in Fort George, earning their keep by selling their products to Belizean Americans and other tourists staying at nearby hotels. Wearing their masks and sanitizing regularly, they are ready to welcome back cruise ship tourists.
Yes, I was seeing more traffic and people wrong, but I don't really believe that we might get sale from the people in because the inside locking the people in. Yes, 1 or 2 of them is come out because they want to know what's happening on the outside. And plus, we more cheaper than the inside because we make most of our own things there. So yes, I will see people around.
The BTB met with the vendors as well as store operators outside the gates of the village to ensure that they are gold standard approved. But Myvett says there are some concerns.
We may expect, they will come and give us help for clean up the place and buy we need this thing clean and thing for we work for tomorrow whether the tourists they come, but nobody come, they come say they will give it the hand washing thing and 1 or 2 masks, but no paint for clean up the place. The place really want to clean, no toilet. The most important thing, we need one toilet, and this is not only now, this is before we the big name for a toilet and no help.
Director of Cruise Tourism Noriko Gamero says that the team has been working with all stakeholders in the cruise tourism industry to ensure that everyone is safe while economic activity resumes.
Our team has even worked with the vendors and the artisans at the niche sites, the vendors and the artisans outside of the port in efforts to get them gold standard. We've worked with even printing and laminating some of the signage for them, and then they put their masks and necessary PPEs. So it really has been a lot of the groundwork just to get them prepared. All the tenants, all the employees have also been vaccinated. And yesterday, I really just want to thank the Ministry of Health because they really engaged in a full swab-on experience of everybody that's going to be operating tomorrow. And I'm happy to report we're 100% negative.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Coming up, vaccination drives continue in rural communities as dozens line up for the jab from healthcare workers. Stay with us.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word.
The Bible says the Lord directs the steps of the godly. He delights in every detail of their lives. Though they stumble, they will never fall, for the Lord holds them by the hand. Often I am asked, how are you doing, Brother Bob? And sometimes I humorously answer, I'm okay, just taking my pills and preaching the gospel and doing all I can to stay out of heaven. Surprised they say, Brother Bob, you really don't mean that. I think most of us would agree that there's more fact than fiction in the statement. Otherwise, we would not go to the doctors as we do, take all the medication we take, and spend as much time praying for one another to be healed. Do we not go to the doctor with hopes of being healed? William J. Mayo said the aim of medicine is to prevent disease and prolong life. Andy Rooney once said it's paradoxical that the idea of living a long life appeals to everyone, but the idea of getting old doesn't appeal to anyone. W.M. Lewis said it best. The tragedy of life is not that it ends so soon, but that we wait so long to begin it. A man 90 years old was asked what he attributed his longevity to. I reckon, he said with a twinkle in his eye, it is because most nights I went to bed and slept when I should have sat up and worried. Abraham Lincoln once said, it's not the years in your life that count, but the life in your years. So whether young or old, live each day holding to God's unchanging hand.
Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
So I'm going to wonder if by chance I could get your number. Digit. Nice.
Of course, you have digital, right?
Yeah, of course.
The truth is, your credit lasts way longer with Digi. Like if you top up with like $30, that could last you 90 days. With the other guys, that must say 60. Then with the other guys, you have to use all of your good prime credit before you even touch your bonus credit. But with Digi, you could use your bonus credit before you even touch your prime credit. Like, what are the point to have free credit if you can't use it how you want? So, what are your number?
Just give me one moment.
The truth is, only Digi offers nationwide LTE coverage, fastest mobile data speeds, and the best call quality.
With the touch of a finger, we can easily unlock our phones and securely gain access to our data. This technology is called biometrics, and the Social Security Board is introducing fingerprint recognition to make transactions and handling of your sensitive data secure, fast, accurate, and convenient. Is your identity safe? Fingerprint recognition will keep your Social Security record secure and confidential while making your access fast and easy. It protects your identity. Is your name a common one? Fingerprint recognition uses your unique characteristics, ensuring your hard-earned benefits go directly to you, the rightful owner. Tired of all the paperwork? Fingerprinting makes this hassle-free. Your convenience and your information security is our priority. Fingerprint recognition coming soon. Social Security at your fingertips.
On Friday, the government announced a lockdown of 3 southern villages, Midway, Conejo, and Barranco in Toledo. So what is life like in these areas right now with the travel ban and curfew in place for the next 2 weeks? Today we spoke with Chairman Marco Ico of Midway. He supports the lockdown and is thankful for the food packages, but notes that some important hygiene items are not included, and so far the financial assistance has not arrived.
Since now, I not see nobody on the road. It's very calm. We are abiding on the protocols that they give us, and people are not moving anymore. And my people is just listening. Very, 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 very beautiful that they're doing like that. The only thing that is affecting them in the house is like sugar. Like we're not getting sugar, we're not getting sweet soaps from it, and especially for the paper. They need those things for themselves, no? So more or less like the food, we get flour. Thanks for the Ministry of I think Ministry of Health helping us a lot with rice, beans, and flour, and other stuff like chicken. Thanks for that contribution that they're doing us for every 4 days that they promised us. And the 150 that they promised us with the money, we don't see that yet. With people and they're in lockdown, they cannot move nowhere. They can't go to work nowhere. You know, no shops are open. Even the corn mill is not open. Nothing. Churches are nothing. There's nothing open right now. It's very, very hard for us to move, and especially. And I feel sorry for them, but it's not our fault. It's the virus, no? And we need to protect it, protect ourselves from it, and control this virus at least.
Chairman Eco says Ministry of Health personnel have been on the ground distributing food packages to the residents, but some mothers have been unable to get items for babies, including diapers, because of the travel ban and closure of the local shop. The COVID-19 vaccination campaign continues countrywide. Today in Placencia, the NHI team was on hand giving jabs of the AstraZeneca vaccine to people gathered at the Placencia basketball court. Dr. Rayford Rancharan is part of the Ministry of Health team based in Independence, which serves Independence, St. Bite, and many other southern communities. He told News 5 about his team's most difficult moments during the pandemic and why he is encouraging people in the Placencia and Independence area to get vaccinated.
We experienced about 4 deaths while we were caring for people, and that was because the system was overwhelmed, the health system overwhelmed, so we had to make up our own COVID unit at Independence, working 24 hours, and we had unfortunately about 4 people that ended up dying, but we also saved about 10 or 15 people that came to us. But this is just to show you how this disease is mortal, and it does not respect any age, sex, or race. About 2 of the persons that died, they were elderly folks, about 50 years. We had a female and a male. And these were the ones that had, for example, diabetes, hypertension, and they were poorly controlled. And then secondly, they also came in a late stage of the disease as well. So these are factors that definitely interfered with their overall wellness of being, to respond to this disease. My message to people is that know that we have something to protect ourselves, know we have it available, take advantage, come out and protect yourself because it can save lives.
A total of 268 people got their first COVID-19 vaccination today in Placencia, and 50 others got their second. A similar vaccination drive has been carried out in Camalote, where dozens of residents from that community, as well as other neighboring villages in Cayo District, came out to get their COVID jabs on Monday. According to Chairman Derek Parham, the event was held in conjunction with the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Belize Family Life Association, and attendance throughout the day was impressive. The vaccine drive was supported by an information campaign.
Our main goal is to get as much information as possible to residents, not only in Camalote but surrounding villages, to get the vaccine as quickly as possible as it is available. So at least the COVID rate could be reduced as much as possible, and we could get back to our normal way of life.
What has been the turnout since this morning in terms of the activity here?
Yeah, we have a pretty good turnout up to this lunchtime. Apart from the weather, a lot of residents decide to take the opportunity and come get tested and as well get their vaccine done.
Now, as a community leader and as someone who's participating in this activity, have you taken your shot, or where do you stand with regards to that?
Yes, I'm about to take my shot in the next 5 minutes. As I said, I was advised by a doctor friend of mine because if I'm not mistaken, my dad had contracted it some months ago, and her advice to me was to make sure that I'm fully safe before I get this vaccine conducted. So it fell in this time of the month. So I decided, as it is readily available for myself, I would take it.
A recent prison sentence of a father of 2 young children has drawn fire on social media. On Friday, Ramiro de la Rosa from Duck Run 2 was sentenced to 3 years in prison after police found a gun inside a house his father had occupied until his recent death. Although the gun was licensed to his father and would not expire until October, police detained Ramiro. He was arraigned in the San Ignacio Magistrates Court and pleaded guilty to the charge of being in possession of an unlicensed firearm. News 5 spoke with attorney Arthur Saldivar, who told us while survivors ought to report guns to the department, he believes the police acted unreasonably and the case is ripe for appeal. He also talked about what people can do if someone dies leaving behind a gun they would like to keep.
Firearm in question was legitimately licensed. The license holder died. Now, if it is that the police is telling you that the firearm is illegal once the license holder is died, then it's their responsibility to come and collect it when he dies, but to ensure that at the time of his death, they know where it is and how to secure it. But if they have not done anything, made no affirmative steps to come and collect it, how can they come and hold somebody responsible who lives in the yard? That makes no sense. That is a violation of his right. It has to be appealed because from my understanding of things, he doesn't even live in that house. He lives in another house.
But don't I have a responsibility as well?
It is not the guy's responsibility. He does not live in the same house. The most that he can do is to go to the police station and report that, listen, my father had a licensed firearm in the house. It is there. He has now passed. Can you have somebody come to collect it?
What if he wanted it to hold in memory?
That forms a part of the father's estate. So it goes to the police station. They will give a receipt that they have it. And then somebody from the family can apply for a license to get it. And once the license is approved to them, they can then get it. But they have to report it.
Up to this afternoon, De La Rosa had not been taken to the Belize Central Prison to begin his sentence because he is ill in the hospital. Last week, amateur phone video captured the scene as police officers were beating up on a man, now identified as David Smalls. The video received condemnation from the public as 2 police officers hit the already restrained man and stomped him in the head. Today, the Human Rights Commission of Belize issued a statement condemning the abuse at the hands of the law enforcement officers sworn to protect the citizenry. Coordinator Oscar Quiroz of the Commission says that it is a flagrant violation of fundamental human rights.
Anyone watching that video, their reaction will be the same. You watching that, you become concerned not only for the individual, but you become concerned for the community on a whole. No? Seeing police behaving in that manner is definitely something scary to think about. We decided that, and a lot of times, these videos, they're becoming more common. But this one in particular shocked us because, the individual was already arrested. He was on the ground unconscious, and you can see clearly where one officer takes him and stamps him in the head now. We decided that in evaluating the video and discussing it, and others like it, that we definitely need to start playing a more active role in our community to condemn these actions. No, it is my view that that behavior is criminal. It's the individual was, like we said, already arrested, unconscious on the ground, and you can see clearly where the police officers stamped him in his face, kicked him up, dragging him away. That should be more than just some disciplinary charge against.
The communications director of the Belize Police Department has spoken out against actions of the officers, saying that the Professional Standards branch of the department is looking into the incident. But the HRCB says that these violations have become all too common. The commission says it provides support to the victims of human rights violations in all its forms.
There needs to be more from the community and from NGOs, human rights NGOs, to try and hold these individuals of these actions responsible for these actions. We think that we need to definitely start holding them more accountable for their actions. These incidents happen, you hear this investigation goes to the standards branch, and from there, what become of it, we don't know now. And we would definitely want to know what becomes of these police officers that act in this manner. And definitely, I think the public is growing tired of this kind of behavior, and we want to see some more serious action being taken against the individuals responsible for these behavior.
After the break, the Christian Workers Union lobbies on behalf of members afraid of losing their jobs, and some who already have. But first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
in exercise of the power conferred upon it by Section 7 of the Electricity Act, Chapter 221 of the Laws of Belize, and with the approval of the Minister, the Public Utilities Commission PUC, the Commission hereby notifies the general public that it intends to enact a bylaw in relation to electricity procurement and power purchase. The bylaw shall govern the procurement processes for wholesale, distributed energy resources, and short-term power purchases by addressing the roles of the Commission and the utilities. The bylaw seeks to secure public welfare, national security, and services at the best value for money. Further clarify the exercise by the Commission of its duties under the Public Utilities Commission Act and Electricity Act. Provide for increased conservation and efficiency of electricity resources by utilities and equitable retail rates for consumers, and detail the RFP and PPA processes. Regulatory tools to achieve the Commission's public interest mandate of setting tariffs for the provision of electricity service to the public. Members of the public are invited to give their comments by email info@puc.bz or post by 17 July 2021. The draft bylaw may be viewed in its entirety at the offices of the Commission at 41 Gabriel Lane, Belize City, or on the PUC website at www.puc.bz.
The Christian Workers Union is at a critical juncture once again in its negotiations with the Port of Belize Limited. After lengthy discussions over a period of several years, the CWU was finally able to secure a collective bargaining agreement for waterfront workers who are members of the labor organization. The same cannot be said for employees of PBL, who are also represented by the union. This morning, the CWU called a press conference in which a number of pressing issues came to light, including the fact that discussions have been virtually exhausted between both parties. Notwithstanding a mediation exercise, the matter concerning a management union agreement for PBL staff remains unresolved.
We have reached a point where on the matter of stevedores at PBL and staff, where despite a lot of diplomatic effort, we have been unable to make any movement on significant issues that our members have very serious concerns about. As you know, I assume you know that while we were able to achieve CBA for stevedores last year, we were never able to get a CBA for staff, which is a sister unit at PBL represented by CWU. That matter went to mediation. It was not resolved by mediation. And we have been asking PBL management to meet with us to discuss the issues to see what we can do. The position of the employer is that they can only deal with one issue at a time. And because we have been engaged with them to finalize an agreement on behalf of the stevedores with secondary substitutes, their position is we have to sign that or they will not talk about anything else.
Of equal concern for the Christian Workers Union is a pending move by ASR-BSI to transfer its sugar operations from Belize City to the port of Big Creek. This would mean that the company will instead truck shipments of sugar from Tower Hill to Independence Overland as a cost-cutting measure. It also spells the termination of roughly 40 stevedores who have been working at the waterfront offloading sugar barges for decades. But is it legal for ASR-BSI to simply relocate its Belize City operations in the face of an agreement that was signed between Toledo Enterprises Limited and the government of Belize back in February 2006? CWU President Evan Mose Hyde also raised that issue during this morning's press conference.
Most of you, I believe, are aware that ASR is presently building a storage facility at Big Creek, where they intend to relocate their shipping point from PBL, from Port of Belize, to the Big Creek facility. This was confirmed to us for the first time 2 months ago by the new CEO at PBL, Mr. Andy Lane. Even before that, we had been expressing to negotiators from PBL that our members want to sit down and discuss the sugar situation. We have been told incessantly that this is not a matter they are going to engage in at this point in time. We have gone as far as to write to the Prime Minister of the country, the Honorable Johnny Briceño. We wrote to the Prime Minister on the 28th of May, and in that letter we described to the Prime Minister the serious impasse that was developing on the matter of sugar relocation and compensation to our members. We also took the time to describe to the Prime Minister the situation with our staff and the fact that they will be denied a right to engage on their matters separately. And we also shared with the Prime Minister a copy of an agreement that we have that was signed in 2006 between the government of Belize and the ownership group for Big Creek. And that agreement was signed to try to quell what was an apparent dispute between PBL and Big Creek. And that agreement set out what Big Creek was allowed to ship and what it was not allowed to ship.
The Belmopan City Council, led by Mayor Sharon Palacio, has terminated the services of 25 Citco employees. Those individuals, all members of the Christian Workers Union, were served notice at the end of June. It's reportedly part of a re-engineering exercise being undertaken by the municipal government. However, the CWU charges that City Hall is not following due process where labor laws are concerned. It's a similar situation that took place in San Pedro when a new town council took office. Several persons were similarly relieved of their duties at Town Hall, and compensation for their service became a subsequent issue. In this case, Hyde says that they are in communication with the Labor Commissioner and the Belmopan City Council to see if the matter can be resolved.
At the end of last week, 25 members of the Belmopan City Council were given their walking papers. The situation there is that we have sent a letter to the Belmopan City Council and to the Labor Commissioner saying that we feel ambushed and we believe that this process has not been handled according to labor law requirements. We have been in contact with the Belmopan City Council and the Mayor. She has indicated to us that they intend to do re-engineering. We were told we would get a re-engineering plan, and so we went to Belmopan on June the 23rd when we were supposed to get a re-engineering plan. We were told that the re-engineering plan was not ready as yet, but that it would be ready the latter part of July, early August. And so we had a subsequent meeting with our members to tell them, listen, re-engineering is a fancy word to say that people will be let go. We as the union are in a position where we have said on multiple occasions to the Belmopan City Council and to the Mayor, listen, please acquaint yourself with the labor laws as it relates to redundancy, because there are specific procedures that have to be done. And we will have to hold you accountable to that. We assured our members in this meeting of June the 23rd that we had met with the Belmopan City Council, that there was going to be a plan presented to us, and as according to law, we would have an opportunity to respond and to see if our efforts could result in a mitigation of the negative impact of termination.
Just ahead, reaching out to diabetics, especially young people living with the disease. BFLA and NHI join forces for public health education.
My name is Star, and I'm a Belizean trans man.
Star is a very fun person, very outgoing, a very friendly person, and quite a charming individual, to just spend some time with.
Dalila is a friend of mine. She's one of my only friends that have been very supportive.
I have so much admiration for Star because I was never aware of the kind of discrimination that Star faces for just being who he is and being true to himself.
It's important to have allies that will respect me no matter what.
For me, being trans, being gay, being lesbian, doesn't matter to me, it doesn't.
Live and let live. Respect for all Belizeans.
Try it first.
Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
That's the sound of fuel efficiency. Every day, every time, I choose Una Fuels powered with Dynamax. Una, a brand committed with the future.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
2020 taught us the importance of being connected to the virtual world, and NextGen is here to keep its commitment to you. Even if you're physically apart, NextGen keeps you digitally connected.
Okay everyone, thank you for following me today.
NextGen provides more than just an internet plan. They provide service plans that support all your online needs. Sign up today and get your NextGen's ultra high-speed internet service. NextGen, powered by Central TV and Internet.
The government's recent decision to forge ahead with the decriminalization of small quantities of cannabis and capitalize on cannabis products as a means of generating income and taxes has provoked a mixed reaction. While the National Evangelical Association of Belize continues to bolster its position against legalization among its flock, Pastor Louis Wade has been particularly vocal in condemning the move to amend the Misuse of Drugs Act. Earlier today, News 5 spoke with Pastor Wade, who says that politicians should not be the ones leading the discussion on marijuana legalization. He says that it's a discussion for the medical community to head.
The church has stated its strengthening position on being against any kind of legalization of marijuana or any other illegal drugs. I can speak only on behalf of my church and those that I represent directly. And our position has not changed and cannot change because the science behind marijuana has not changed. It is true that the social demand is increasing. And I must also say that since the decriminalization of marijuana, more of our young people are using and experimenting. At Hedges, one of Belize's only drug rehabilitation center, we have far more interest in recovery from marijuana and other drugs than before. And it's mostly parents that contact us on behalf of their children, mostly boys. We have a problem where the politicians, I'm not sure when the People's United Party had a formal position on marijuana from one of their conventions. I don't go to their conventions. I've read their manifesto. I have not seen anything on legalization of marijuana. So the virtual campaigns that they had, I don't hear legalization of marijuana. And so maybe that was them and their campaign sponsors or whatever, but that was not generally known by the nation. The church cannot take the position of win or lose. The church has to speak as the moral conscience, as a moral agent. The church is comprised of professionals. We have doctors, nurses, we have lawyers, we have mental health experts. And so what the church does is it consults with its professionals and selects the best way forward.
The Belize Family Life Association National Health Insurance Clinic has launched a project to help diabetics get tested and educated about this disease that affects thousands of Belizeans. The initiative is particularly important right now since some diabetics have been so afraid of catching COVID-19. They may not have been getting the support they need.
The BFLA NHI Clinic has launched a project to support their diabetic patients because since the pandemic started, fewer diabetic patients are going into the clinic. According to Dr. Natalie Bruce, many diabetics and other patients are fearful of being exposed to COVID-19 at the facility, and so they don't visit the doctor to check on their health.
So as to make a connection with the patient and still be in tune with them in terms of follow-up or questions or concerns that they may have, as well as newly diagnosis, we decided to start a support group so that we're able to reach out to our patients as well as to give information to others that may be inquiring about diabetes. So you find that the patients, they will prefer to do the refills rather than coming in to get their proper examination at the clinic. You also have patients that are not properly controlled because some of them, they might not have that support to bring them into the clinic. Some of them go months without their medication, and so when they do return, the blood sugar might be high or they might have certain complications, for example, infections that may not have been attended at home.
For that reason, this diabetic support group will be doing community outreach as well as other forms of online support. Administrator Cheryl Gabriel says they will start with testing and education to help Belizeans reduce the chances of their condition leading to more serious health complications.
Within Belize, diabetes is very prevalent. And so the more you know of your condition and the more you know of where you are as a patient with diabetes or not diabetes, it's best for individuals to understand where they are on a daily basis. And so the clinic in itself assists individuals who come in to see us with proper management of their diabetes. And so we don't want to, at our clinic, we don't want you to come in already having diabetes. We want prevention. So we are looking at it from a preventative perspective. You come in, you check what's going on with you, you understand where your glucose levels are, and we go from there in terms of management. If some people surprisingly come in with a glucose level of 300, 400, and then they become alarmed, and it's like, what have I not been doing? And so we are saying to individuals, let's check, let's get to know where you are before it reaches that point.
Misha King lives with diabetes. She has volunteered at the clinic because she wants more young people to educate themselves so that they can manage or prevent this disease.
We're currently working on the Walk to Freedom, whereby individuals can come in and join us and help walk, to fight diabetes. We want to promote health care, we want to promote being healthy and to eat healthy. And being a diabetic myself, I understand, and also as a young person, I want to encourage other young people that you can't just be eating any and everything. I never expected to get diabetes, but I did. I gained over 200 and something pounds, and after that I was diagnosed with diabetes, but I lost all that weight and everything. And right now I'm managing my diabetes with insulin. With this project, we're hoping to reach out to them to prevent them to having to take medication on a whole, because taking insulin and injecting yourself 2 times a day is not a pretty sight.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.
The BFLA NHI Clinic is also hosting a raffle to raise funds to support the project. You can get your tickets for $1 at the clinic on the corner of Central American Boulevard and Mahogany Street. Just ahead, Sean Gale prepares to live his Olympic dream. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
I was 17 and in love, and I thought he loved me too. But now I know that a loving partner should not take away your choice of clothes you wear or the music you listen to. He should not take away your purse, car keys, or your phone so that when your family calls, you cannot answer. If your partner is controlling you, it is domestic violence. Call 0800 A Way Out or our cell phone number 672-9628. This message is brought to you by the National Women's Commission in collaboration with Miss Universe Belize with funding from the Engender and Spotlight projects.
Why, Tony?
Boy, kid, what you go on, man?
I actually can see we can need to buy a stack of them plastic plates and cups for my grocery shop because I run low.
Boy, I stopped importing things since April 15th, you know. And I just run out to the last batch, must be about like 3 weeks back, you know.
Man, do I usually have anything? What you go on?
Check this, right? Under the new law, we ban all single-use plastics, so that the cups, plates, forks, spoons, and knives, all of that. Since April 15th, can't import none of them. Starting January 15, 2021, you can't manufacture them. April 15, 2021, you can't sell them. And after July 14, 2021, if you get catch with any other thing, you will get fined.
Me never know this. I guess I have to make some changes then. I have to make the customers know that anything not available. Anyways, bro. Thanks, man.
No problem, man. Take care.
Es un hecho. Únicamente con Smart obtienes todo realmente ilimitado. Solo con Smart obtienes datos ilimitados en cualquier momento. Mientras que con el otro proveedor solo son datos dobles los fines de semana. Con datos ilimitados todos los días no hay necesidad de esperar, así que es un hecho que nuestros planes ilimitados superan a la competencia. Por lo tanto, no permita que le digan cómo y cuándo usar sus datos y obtenga llamadas, mensajes de texto y datos ilimitados. Vive la verdadera experiencia de planes ilimitados con Smart. Es un hecho. Haga el cambio y viva Smart.
Over the past 2 years, flooding and drought have ravaged vegetable fields in the Valley of Peace. Less than a year ago, the country's largest cabbage producers lost hundreds of thousands of heads of cabbage to floods, leaving them struggling to make ends meet. At the time, the Valley of Peace Farmers Association appealed to the government for help for them to keep planting. Well, GOB is now offering assistance to 31 farmers through the Resilience Rural Belize Program's Matching Grant Fund. On Monday, government officials and the Valley of Peace farmers signed an agreement for the construction of a climate-resilient office and climate-smart seedling nursery, packing and storage center with equipment and irrigation equipment. The agreement also provides for technical assistance and capacity building to help them improve the management and marketing of their operations.
This association is interested in receiving assistance in the production of cabbage and onions using innovative manners so that they can build this resilience to all the climate change that we see happening. There's lots of rain, so the drainage, with the drought, irrigation, and of course capacity building. So the total funding for this matching grant fund is approximately $261,000. And of course the farmers, to have buy-in and ownership, they will contribute 10% in cash and 5% in kind of their labor.
This falls within the scope of our agriculture policy, supporting the farmers in this area. Valley of Peace farmers are a very productive group of people. They contribute a lot to, I would describe it as import substitution. If they produce cabbage, we don't have to import. And so they do with other products. So providing them with the assistance needed for irrigation and so on will definitely help us meet our objectives, our goal, which are try to import less and produce more for our country. So definitely that's within the scope of our agriculture policy.
So what type of technical assistance will the ministry be offering?
Well, the drainage, the canal you see there, the irrigation canal, was designed by our team at Central Farm. We have a drainage and irrigation team. They came here and did the plan and they guided the process. So that's the technical assistance. Secondly, we have our extension officers on the ground. They are here providing the farmers with technical assistance, controlling diseases, controlling weeds, the variety selection, and so on.
The project is being funded by the International Fund for Agricultural Development and the Green Climate Fund. The Belize 2021 Tokyo Olympic Games are only a few days away, and Belizean athlete Sean Gill will be representing Belize in the 100-meter dash. Today, News 5 spoke to Gill, who recently came home after intense training in the U.S. We learned about his readiness for the competition as he prepares to fly to Tokyo.
It's really heartwarming, because it's a dream, as athletes, it's how we dream about. The Olympics are the biggest stage when it comes to, all the sports, all the disciplines in the world, swimming, track, canoeing, any sport you can think about, right? And this is really the highest stage you can be. So, as a kid growing up, this is always the dream, and sometimes it may feel like it never may happen, but I just stick to the sport. I've been in the sport, 10, 15 years now, and I guess the hard work to pay off now.
In terms of young Belizean athletes looking at this right now also have that dream of one day making it to the Olympics. What do you say to them?
It might sound cliche, but you have to stick with it. Whatever your sport is, even if it's not a sport, you can be an artist, musician, man, you have to stick with it. I mean, you can't be afraid to knock down barriers, you know, push open doors. You'll hear no's, you'll get negative feedbacks, but you have to stay at it, you know. Eventually, with time, the dedication and hard work will show. It has to show. So you have to just stay with it.
Sean, all the best.
Thank you.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.